chess tournament. Be part of it.
Good afternoon, chess fans, and welcome back to the 2016 Tata Steel Chess Tournament. Live coverage here from the Demorion in Wijk aan Zee. I'm your host, Yasser Seirawan, along with Robert Riss. Robert, it's great fun to have you on the show, as always. Last
My pleasure.
year, we had a lot of good laughs together. I wanted to take a look at yesterday's games from Amsterdam, in specifically the game between Fabiano Caruana versus Oifan. Oifan. They've reached this position. Black obviously has the threat of checkmate looming over White's king. Hence, we saw the move Rook h5. And now this was the crucial moment where, after the move Rook g8, Black's golden opportunity has been missed. With the move Bishop f7, it totally turns the tables. White is obliged to play Rook takes g5. Now King f6, and suddenly the Rook is trapped.
The Rook is running out of squares.
No other move except King f4, which has a double purpose, of course, not only defending the Rook, but also threatening Rook takes g6. And now the very sweet little move Bishop g6. And this win was pointed out by former world champion Rustam Kazımjanov, who's actually working with Fabiano Caruana.
Right.
And the point, of course, is that White's position collapses. It's really that simple. Rook d2 and Rook takes f2 is being threatened. In case of the move g4, Rook d2, take the pawn, and now Bishop drops back to f7, and all of White's pieces are misplaced. Again, this Rook is so disruptive. It's coming to f2. The Rook on g5 needs protection, and this would have been a winning opportunity.
Fantastic. Yeah.
As it happened, the players went on and fought basically to a hard-fought draw.
Did it happen in time trouble? Because it's like move
I don't-
30, 35, and Fabiano has some issues usually with his time management. So.
Yeah, to be frank, we were looking so closely at the Magnus
Yeah.
Carlsen game with Luke Van Welly that we hadn't. It's possible that this too was a time trouble situation that influenced the outcome. But this is like one of those. If you give it as a problem, then you find it,
Sure,
because
yeah.
you're alerted to the fact that there might be an opportunity.
Right. So actually, I was wondering.
and-
I didn't check it, but instead
Yes.
of Rook h5, it was still possible to play f4 here.
Yes, no doubt that this this was
Rook
probably
h5 was the blunder,
it was the blunder that cost. And of course, in this case, basically Black is no longer. I mean, it's very clear that it's Black who's playing, because you're going to have a, how do you say, a protected pass pawn, right? I mean, it's not like Black is winning or anything like
Sure,
that, but it's Black for choice, and well. Similar also to the game, your suggestion of f4, probably again being very superior move. Also, in this case, they would reach the same kind of, and it may transpose.
Actually, it's very concrete, because Black can play the move f4 here,
Yes,
take,
take with check.
and now you cannot really prevent the Black Rook from coming to the second rank.
You have to go back, right?
You have
King
to go back,
e2,
King
bishop
E2,
c4
bishop
check,
C4.
and you got to go back again.
I can still go to e1.
Yeah. Otherwise, but okay, Black's for choice. I mean,
Still not a fun.
defense for Fabiano, our tournament leader.
All right, so
Okay, so let's go back.
interesting.
Yes,
Interesting highlight.
a
I
big-
didn't notice it actually.
Yeah, it was easy.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it. It was actually Kazım who brought it to our attention. So we'll go to our games, of the moment. And let me just close that. And let us jump to world champion Magnus Carlsen's game, the London system, against Tomaszewski. And this all looks like very normal moves, I want to say. You see, you just keep it. You just stay on.
Keep it, yeah.
You just stay on.
Dutch way of formulating the question.
Yeah, you just leave the bishop on f4 for the moment. And I actually like this maneuver by Black. Tomaszewski bringing his knight around to g6. It kind of makes his position that much freer. He induced the capture by the bishop. That usually is not the signal. I think that's a signal that basically black has equalized, but okay, knight e5. And we still see that white has ideas of just entrenching. I think I did. Oh, I have to, pardon me, I put it on analysis mode. F2, F4, and entrenching the knight on e5. What's your take?
I'm not sure. I mean, objectively speaking, I believe black should be all right. I mean, but there's still something to play for. There's this imbalance of knight versus bishop. There's something to play here for white. I'm not sure Magnus really enjoys the position, but we can have a look at the clock times, which is huge.
Wow.
Which is huge. And
near 50-minute difference there on the clocks.
Yeah, 45 minutes difference here. So, okay, and we know Magnus that he will push any position till the end. So, I will take white anyway. I mean, objectively speaking, there's a risk that this bishop on b7 remains a bad piece for the entire game.
That's right.
I don't see anything could go wrong for white here.
All right. Well, let me play the devil's advocate then. I'll play knight e4, trying to can I put it, extend the diagonal of the bishop for a moment.
Sure. Yeah. What you're going to do after the move f3?
Okay.
Not sure. I really want
yes,
to play this
exactly.
move,
I wanted to induce it actually. Knight takes d2. I am assuming rook takes d2, and I wanted to go g5. I don't like this knight on e5. I want to kick it away as quickly as I can.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, but it is this imbalance of bishop and knight versus knight. The position's very, very closed. And black is hopeful, let's put it in that way, that when the position does open, he doesn't want to end up with a bad bishop, stuck behind his own wedge of pawns,
No, if you kick the knight back, then at some point you can consider moves like e5 once you've...
Right, once
so
I've done
f3 is
that.
a really, really bad move from my side.
Well,
bad
sure
is
not... Also, my idea was on a good day. How can I do it? I wanted to do it in some way like this. Okay, I'm just going to make a silly move for white. I apologize, yeah? I wanted to say that in such a position where I get a bishop on d5 versus a knight on e5, I'm rather favorably inclined towards the bishop. Okay, so I mean, at least the bishop has a view.
Looks like a French bishop
somehow. And it has a view, yeah? So, okay, at the moment, the clock could very well easily be a upsetting factor for black. But, okay, for the moment, you have a slight edge for white. I'll say that black should be no worse after the move knight e4. Shall we continue?
Yeah.
What
sure.
other games do we have? Wesley
Which
So.
game we haven't checked?
Oh, pardon me, yes.
Yeah, well, let's have a brief look and then we'll come back to Wesley So's game.
How's Mickey and Luke?
We haven't checked that one yet. Whoa, what's going on here?
Wow.
There's a Najdorf.
Okay, and this was the G3 Najdorf.
The
We had
G3
seen
Najdorf?
and yesterday,
I don't dare to pronounce it
anymore.
anymore,
Wei has played knight b3 against Anish with not very.
I didn't like the way he handled the opening. He spent so much time with his knight, but
On the contrary, I really thought that Anish actually held an edge after the opening. I thought that I would have preferred black. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
Knight d5. Normally, when white jumps, he wants to jump after taking along the move a4, huh?
Yeah, sometimes you include that move, yeah, a4 here.
a4. I'm just saying, it might prove advantageous to first force the pawn. And okay, after you play b5, more than likely you want to get in the move a5. But Mickey, he has his systems. He knows what he's doing. He jumped right away with knight d5, knight d7. I'm assuming this is all theory.
It looks very familiar to me, but there are some subtleties here as well.
All of this looks okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm not sure.
We've got the two bishops, yay. Whoa.
Oh, wait a second, what's going on here?
There's a queen b7 at the end of... but what's rook takes e4?
It has been played, yeah.
And there's still a queen b7,
still-
by the way.
Yeah, this is interesting to point out, that if you take with the bishop,
Immediately.
then you can take, and it turns out the bishop on b6 is not so great, because
It is
now both the pieces are hanging.
the double attack. yeah.
Double attack, so knight takes e4.
Rook
So
takes
if this works for black, he should be fine, but let's see. Rook takes e4, f5,
5, yes.
rook moves, rook e3 has been played, and now take, wait a second, but this is, okay, queen b7 now.
Exactly. Has this happened?
Has this been played? Yeah, queen is on b7, rook f3. The line continues probably, because
Queen.
if you take here,
Check.
or yeah, start with a check,
Yes.
king
King is-
h8, and
Rook
rook
takes.
takes f5.
And there's a rook on a8.
And you can take here because of checkmate. So,
Nice variation. Very long
wait a second.
winded calculation.
But perhaps there are some other moves which can be played here.
e4.
e4, but I'm not sure it makes a big difference. Maybe it does. But well, what else? Otherwise the bishop retreats. So e4.
Okay. Now we continue rook f4, yeah? Yeah, and what about g5?
Yeah.
It's a weird line, isn't it? It looks favorable for black, first sight. Without the move queen d5 check in the position, black should be doing fine.
I don't see a good way to sacrifice the exchange for white.
Me,
It looks very scary. I mean, in general, if you could get this bishop on
Yes.
the diagonal, but we need to get the queen into action as well. And
Yes.
it's not easy to combine these ideas.
right.
It's
Yeah.
very tricky position.
Queen takes d6, pawn takes f4, and this is where you're saying you want to get bishop.
Probably bishop d4.
Right, and you just want to play queen e5 checkmate as fast as you can. But I don't believe it for white. I mean, black can always sacrifice the rook. Rook d8, rook takes d4.
Even a move like e3 or f3.
Yeah. No, so an opportunity perhaps for Luke. Let me just let us go back to the position at hand. We're looking at the move e5, e4 as a chance perhaps to turn the tables, because that other move, queen takes b6, is just very nice for
Gives white control over the light squares in a line we
Absolutely.
pointed out. Yeah.
Yeah, so e4 looks more than compelling, maybe simply forced. Is rook f4 the only move? I mean, okay, if I play rook
But
c3... Well,
where
rook
else?
c3... Okay, rook c3.
Actually, it's also
A
serious move.
decent move, yeah, because
Queen d5.
I do have a bailout here with rook c6, and I will not have to suffer a pawn down, as I'll get to take this.
Actually, black's pawns, they look impressive, but on the other hand, white has control over the d-file, so I'm not sure. Black.
Maybe white is still a little bit of an edge, actually.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think
Yeah.
the control over the d-file is more important. So
Yeah, we were just continuing out of on fumes with rook f4 and taking out our rook f5, but this move g5 is more than disconcerting.
actually, it's interesting that Luke is spending his time here, but
And the clocks are, they're about even.
yeah.
Okay, no big differences here in this game. all right, we would expect after e4, rook c3, and the game would continue.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, let's continue our walk around the stage.
Okay, so we have covered all boards. Oh, apart from
David?
Karyakin against
Oh,
Elyov.
pardon me. Okay, so from the start,
We have another Catalan-like system, Bogo Indian. However it's called, it's a mixture of
yeah, with knight b, when the knight comes to d2, then the names start falling away. Okay, this was a kind of a b6 variation, what we were talking about, of Anish and Shah.
yeah.
And by the way, probably after, a3, bishop d6, it might be some kind of a real transposition. But b3, I remember a game from a U.S. championship where a Kamran Shirazi as white had mistimed this move b3 against Joel Benjamin, and there was a shot that went like bishop c3 and knight e4, and suddenly like Joel just stole the show. I mean, he took over the whole game. b3, that's a very
Doesn't seem to be working here, I suppose.
well. I mean, I gotta look at it, right? I mean, bishop, you're gonna play rook b1, I presume, yeah, rook b1. And let me take. I have an idea that if you take with the knight, I wanted to trap the rook. Maybe this isn't actually trapping the rook, but at least you can understand why I would pursue an interest in the line. And if you took a pawn, can I take this Peshki?
Even that line continues because knight takes d4,
Bishop takes b7.
and knight takes e6,
You rat think.
f takes, and king takes g2.
No, f takes I'm not excited about. How about queen e6? Queen
right.
c8 to attack e6. Now I'm hoping you'll take the rook, and I'll do something like queen h3 and scare the hell out of you.
Tricky business.
Tricky business. That did not happen. Maybe it was worth looking at for sure, though. c5 was the choice of Pavel. Bishop b2, and somehow black ends up with an isolated queen pawn. He's got his space. Knight e1.
The problem here in this position, usually when you play against isolated pawn, you would like to occupy the square, or
The
at least
D-
control it. And
The d4 square, yes.
yeah, the d4 square. And in this case, it seems to me that black has very nice control over the square. So it's difficult for white to put a piece there. And also the knight on d2 is a little bit misplaced. So
Yeah, you wanted going to b5.
yeah,
and then
it's
to do
much nicer if the knight is on c3, attacking the pawn, or get it to b5 and then to d4. Here the main problem for white is this knight on d2.
So knight e1 makes sense, because
Yeah,
then the other knight
The other
can
knight
go-
comes to, yeah.
And one knight can go to d3, perhaps f4, and
Yeah.
playing to win the isolated pawn. So knight e1, a high-class move. And are we up to date with the board? Queen e7 is the last move, and I guess white is taking his time over the direct knight d3. Okay. I would prefer white by a smidge. Somehow the knight on d3 makes a good impression.
Sure, yeah. Black needs to take a decision how to deal. Would you like to keep the bishop?
Do you think he's...
He played a move, actually, I
Do you think he's
played a
thinking
move,
about winning a pawn? Bishop takes?
He played a move, but I cannot see what he played, actually.
He played knight d2 f3.
Yeah, so the other idea we discussed. Yeah.
Can I snabble a pawn?
Well,
We assume queen takes f6. Bishop takes.
well, is this possible?
Look, guess who?
Yeah.
I'm your
I should have
co-host.
been better prepared for the show. Yeah.
I'm your co-host. You know I'm going to look at pawn grabs. Rook d8. Why not?
Rook A, yeah.
Yes, rook a. Now, I've got an issue with the bishop. I'm not really a big fan of the move e2, e4. I feel that opens up the lines too much. Maybe, well, okay, let's have a look.
Even you should have a look here at moves like
knight-
bishop a6. Huh.
Maybe, I apologize. Is this move an option or not? Maybe
You're
this
playing with fire.
Definitely, definitely.
Queen e5?
Queen e5 wrong. You walk into a knight d3. I'm worried about queen f5. Just to point out this one. I think I've tricked you. I hope I've tricked you. Well, you can take, but then I've got two rooks.
No way.
No way. But queen f5.
Yeah, queen f5 is
is more annoying, huh? Because now it doesn't work. I don't get the...
Exactly, yeah.
And this is compensation for sure with this
Take
nice...
black here.
Yeah, with this nice light squared bishop, you would be...
Knight d4 probably.
yeah, you will be happy.
Put it mildly, yeah.
Okay, but that was not... So what Sergei has done is he's played this move, not the direct knight d3. Strange. Okay. But now I would be a little bit worried about, well, what happens? You mentioned this bishop coming to a6, and that's a rather sneaky move. So you'd kind of like to do it at a moment when you provoked e3, right?
Mm-hmm.
That now this knight is not as nicely supported as it was a moment ago. And
Yeah, there are some tactics favoring black.
Yeah. So
Black is very active. He has an isolated pawn, but I really like the setup of black's pieces.
I understand. I'm sympathetic to, but I'm just wondering why he didn't play knight d3, because that looks so natural to my eyes.
So
Intriguing. And Pavel to play. So we think after the decision made by Sergei that Pavel may be more than okay after rook e8.
looks very natural play by black.
Yeah, all of his pieces are ideal with an isolate. I mean, even if you get a position, for example, like this, all of black's pieces kind of feel like good space.
I lost once
good
with
play.
white, a similar position. It was with hanging pawns, but it's possible that white could capture on c5.
Yeah.
In some lines, you recapture with a b pawn. And the problem was that I was maneuvering with the knight, like Sergei is doing,
Yeah.
but I was not really doing anything.
Right.
And I lost a game to Rafael Vaganian.
Yes.
A fantastic game he played against me. I mean, it was like I felt nobody.
He just really...
It came so natural to him, and
he had space, and
Space,
and while
yeah.
you were maneuvering, he kept taking more squares, and then suddenly it was splat. Yeah.
The pawns, they from the
Advanced.
technical weakness they become a strength. They capture taking away squares from the white pieces. So
Yeah.
I like black. I believe black is fine. I'm not saying black is better, but
Agreed. I think black is more than fine as well. So
yeah, let's go. We have made our round
Yes.
to the board. So it's my take now.
Yes, your turn.
It's very hard.
In my household, there's a fight for the remote. You know, the remote control. Who has the control?
Let's have a look at Arni's game. I'm curious to see what happened.
We left it about these parts.
This moment
Yeah.
after Queen C7,
And we were looking at Queen B3, perhaps, and Queen C2 was Anish choice.
yeah, similar idea. I mean, protecting the pawn, getting
Okay.
ready the knights to come into play.
And another surprising capture.
Yes.
C5 takes D4 by Shak Mamidarov.
But this is interesting
Because here I think many players would have been would have played B6. Yeah, since you're ready to meet knight F3 hops with bishop B7, no?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of players would have on. Oops, excuse me. I have to put it on analysis mode. B6. And how do we go?
Well, we can still play
A4.
knight c3 or...
Knight c3. Well, then you're kind of exposing this guy a little bit. So first a6 to stop. We saw this kind of d5 takes, b5.
Well, but if you would like to play your plan with d5, I believe the queen is better off on c2.
Much
yeah.
better. I am not walking into Tempe, and I'm
Yeah.
supporting e4. So this might have been a viable line for both players. Something of this nature, yeah?
Yeah. And even if you would like to play with the idea of d5, it
Yes.
could make sense to include your move as well, your move
My
a4.
move.
First.
Okay. Yeah.
Although, no, I think I cannot really take advantage of this pawn, or can I?
Well, I would take on d4 in this case.
Yeah, knight takes.
And, oh, do I
was
fall
hoping
for a tricky?
I thought bishop b7 and can I
you
play
had-
knight b5 here?
It's legal, but is it good?
I'm not sure it's working at all.
Exactly.
Well, it could,
That's a
could
couple
work,
of
yeah.
pieces, no? Hold on. AB, let's start with the obvious. Let's take on g2
Take on c7.
and bishop e4.
Ah, Zwischenzug.
Well, I'm wondering, if I get 3 pieces,
Nah,
then I'm happy. 3 pieces for the queen, I mean.
you're
Then
getting
I'm-
it. yeah.
And I'm getting it. Well, you can take the rook, take the bishop, take the pawn. No, what's the body count in that case? No, then I've got too many pieces. I apologize. Too many pieces.
No, it's better for black.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see the actual game.
Yeah, let's see, because something strange
He
happened.
took on d4.
Took on d4, and now I would expect white to recapture with e pawn,
Which is why he played e3, we thought.
but he took with a knight actually,
Okay.
which is hinting at the move knight b5.
Absolutely.
So a6, rook c1.
Knight c5.
He didn't play that move.
What has he done?
Rook d8,
Okay, fair enough.
knight b3, and rook b8.
Not guessing very well Shaq's moves, I must say.
I think I would have played this move knight c5. I like this move.
Me too. Me too.
Knight b3.
Rook
Okay,
b8.
let's see. Rook b8.
Now black is ready for b6 and bishop b7.
Yeah, because
and
okay,
then-
actually white was threatening here to play bishop a5.
Right,
So rook b8,
right.
c5, and bishop e5. This is the
Wow.
current position.
Wow. Okay, let's have a look at the most direct lines. Bishop a5, b6 box.
b6.
Yeah. I took us. Queen takes c2, rook takes c2, bishop a1, yeah? And again, the body count is...
b7 is still an option, or
I wanted to play b7. Shall we have a look? Take on b7, or I take on b7. Now the rook on d8 is hanging. Everything's hanging. What are we doing? We're putting all
We're
their pieces.
messing the position. yeah.
We're putting all their
Yeah.
pieces on.
Actually,
three.
Anish played one more move in
Okay.
the meantime. Let's show that. After bishop e5, he played the move knight d4. I think, if I can
If
see
you
it from the
guess-
screen.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. Yes, he has played knight d4.
And I think he doesn't want to... he likes to keep the knight, maybe to put it on a3 and c4 later on.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. I think I like white here.
I think we're going to find out in another move or two. It's still it's like one of those moments where whoever holds the advantage, it becomes clear in a split second.
Okay.
How does it go after b6? How would the line continue? Obviously, I want knight c5, and if c6, then I wanted to play knight c5, and I still haven't. I'm not sure. It's a great pawn on c6, but does it?
The
live?
knight is a very
Great
effective
knight,
defending,
yeah.
blocking the c file.
Right.
I'm not sure. What's this?
On a good day, black may play, pardon me, on a good day, knight to d5, capture here and maybe capture here somehow. Not sure. I'm
Yeah.
told that Magnus has sacrificed
Yeah, yeah.
a pawn. Let's
Let's move there. We didn't expect that from the position.
yeah.
Where
Well,
is he?
yesterday he was sacrificing a piece. Today he's sacrificing a pawn. All right, this is where we left it.
Knight e5. This was our last move.
Right.
You suggested the move knight e4.
Right, and then later I was playing g5 in order to get an f6. Evgeny
Right.
started with the move g5. Okay, and then came f4. G takes f4. Now everybody was
Wow.
expecting the recapture, of course. E takes f4, and then we may have
Fantastic.
seen
I just like the
idea.
idea. Not sure if it's good or not, but
Shall we try to understand the idea, first of all? I take. Now, is rook takes f6 on the agenda?
okay, why not?
I don't know. I just asking.
It's his position. Yeah.
Yeah, we can take our moves
Yeah,
back
yeah.
when we like. Okay, I'll take on d2. I mean, in
Okay,
the,
this should lead to checkmate.
well,
I suppose.
certainly no risk for the world champion.
Yeah.
There's a perpetual, and at least, and
Perhaps you can bring the other knight. Or
yeah, knight to g4 and stuff. So no, I mean that's not how you play. You
So instead of
You take
taking
on
f6,
d2.
he takes d2.
And now, do we play queen g4?
Even rook takes d2, a simple move like that.
Really? So this really is a pawn sacrifice after rook takes d2. But it looks unpleasant, I must say. Yeah, I like your rook takes d2. It does look unpleasant.
Assuming that it's leading to checkmate after g takes f6.
Yeah, I would almost always say that it's leading
Yeah.
to checkmate, right?
And then rook to d3 in the end. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And the old rook up and over routine. Oops, excuse me.
Nice.
No,
I like
nice.
it. I like this bishop on b7.
Yeah, well, you had mentioned a long time ago that you have to be very
I warned
careful.
you. Yeah, I
that-
didn't expect a mating attack coming up very soon, but
And that is why Evgeny, recognizing that this, accepting the pawn could lead to awkward moments, he played knight d7.
yeah, makes sense. But I'm not sure this is really helping. I mean, I think this move f4 really helped white.
Yes, I agree.
Probably he will recapture now with the e pawn, or
There's a curious moment here. You could also take on d7 and queen takes d7, just clarifying to get the rook, and you could take on f4 with the rook. So your plan is very simple: knight f3, e5, rook d1 to f1. And black is almost obliged to play e5 if he wants to somehow make counterplay.
yeah, but here, okay, black can probably hold on with a move like f6 at some point.
Well, don't. F6 is a great move. Go ahead, play f6. And how would you meet, for example, rook h4?
Good question.
Yeah, just
G5 again. G5.
no.
I had this double pawn. Yeah,
G5.
I'm not sure what's going
Just
on.
a second. Let me take your temperature.
Yeah.
Poor man suffering from a fever.
Where's the
everybody.
tournament doctor? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Those pawns don't come back.
Probably simply retreat the rook to g4.
Yeah. And now you did it to yourself. H4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure g5 was a good move. But
No, that was, you got yourself excited. You could play queen f7. I mean, I was angling, of course, for queen h5 and to launch some kind of an attack. Still, you have to be careful that this bishop doesn't remain a passive spectator.
But it's not such a bad bishop because the structure hasn't been fixed. So imagine queens come off.
Mm-hmm. This wasn't your initial choice. You wanted to recapture directly with the f-pawn, yeah?
Yeah, I like it more.
Okay.
I'm not sure why. Sometimes it's a feeling.
All right, I'll take on d4. At least I'll try to open up the c file for...
And if actually I can still take on on d7. If I
You
right,
haven't burned. Magnus used that term yesterday a lot. Loke hadn't burned his bridges.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. At the moment, you haven't burnt any bridges either.
Yeah.
Except when you played G5. then the village was in trouble. Okay, if you take.
Well, I think the problem is that I know you, Yasser. You'll play knight f6 here.
I was going to play rook c8 right away.
I thought you would like to get your knight to e4.
I thought he was going. I didn't really appreciate the move knight d7 very much, actually. Just in that position when.
Sorry, yeah?
No, it's okay. In that position after rook f1, I would have probably continued in the same style of knight e4. Anyway.
But I'm not sure if it's that great because knight takes,
Pawn takes.
rook takes f4.
Take on d4.
Is there any checkmate with queen h5? Or?
Yes. There might be indeed a checkmate with queen h5. No, there's not a checkmate with queen h. But I mean even
Very
if
soon, yeah.
even if I go like this, I will what? I will be an exchange down for. I don't think.
Actually,
there's
it
a
will not be an
checkmate.
exchange, I think, because I can even consider a crazy idea like a knight h8 and rook h4. And then I'm threatening checkmate on h7.
Oh,
It's cute, yeah?
You're showing you're showing your real coaching skills. For
It happens
your
when you're
students.
teaching 10 years old, yeah? You only look at mating patterns.
Exactly. You look
Yeah.
at them very, very often. So, okay, go ahead, checkmate me. How would you do it?
Do I start with knight h8 or?
Wow. Okay, I'm going to trade queens. Queen c5. Queen
forgot about that
e5.
one.
Trade the queens.
Yeah.
Get those guys off the board.
But if I start with this move?
Okay, queen c5. And is there really a checkmate?
There's no checkmate here. I'm afraid. Nah. Got too optimistic.
Well, but your spidey
I'm-
sense was tingling. You
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
some
There should be something,
opportunity.
but-
Yes?
No, not sure. But anyway, I mean, I believe after
Just,
this,
few
there's
moves
no
back.
need to play queen h5.
Right. You can just
maybe
recapture.
just recapture, yeah.
And now slowly
still in
queen
the air,
h5
yeah.
is in the air. Yes, and f6 knight g6 is
Very unpleasant for black. I think.
yeah, I do agree. Well, my knight e4, that was supposed to be my saving move. Let's see how the game is actually is this
No,
happened?
this is not a
apart-
game. This
was our
an-
analysis.
another line.
After knight d7, Magnus played what? What move?
Can we get some automatic update?
Yes, you just click the, that's the one.
Knight e7 and
Queen h5.
h5.
He likes your checkmate.
Yeah.
He likes your checkmate. Well, the world champion
This
is
is
really
even-
going for it. I must.
I really like the way he plays.
Wow, that is real opportunity. Let's boldly point out the obvious idea of Magnus is that if black captures on
Knight takes
e3,
f7, yeah.
you were mentioning some nice knight h8. I'll be a little bit more pedantic and just play queen h8 mate threats. So queen h5 freezes any captures. And now, well, if black does nothing, rook f4 and rook h4 is curtains.
What happens after knight f6?
Knight f6.
Well, the knight just came from the square.
Let's say queen h4. We've got to
takes
take.
e3.
Otherwise, nothing. We can't justify our play, can we?
Rook takes f6 again.
Rook takes f6 again, and we saw
We have a
positions
similar
like
position, but with the queen on. Where was the queen? The queen was on e2.
Queen was maybe even on e2.
Yeah, this is an
improved version
yeah.
because our yes, of course, and
And queen e7 here.
nobody likes to defend such positions. Rook f2. Now we've got nasty threat of knight g6, right? My spidey sense is tingling here.
Right.
I have no enthusiasm for black's
I
position.
feel like that sacrificing the queen doesn't really help.
Now you go knight g4. Yeah.
Knight d7,
Knight
g4.
g4. Knight
Yeah.
g4. I often say that you start with an open board, yeah, just an open board. You talk about space, the element of space, and then you ask your kids, what are the best squares for the knights, right? And the good kids will find f6 because it controls 6 of black's territories, e6, d6, and c6.
Right.
And the two best squares for the knights are f6 and c6. They're better than e6 and d6, and the question is why? And it has to do with black's king. Black's king is usually on g8 or c8.
Right, yeah.
And here we see how powerful a knight on f6 is. All kinds of checkmating patterns with a knight
Especially
on f6.
with the queen together.
Yes, exactly. So here is the simplest checkmating pattern. You put your queen on h6 and your knight on f6. So this would allow the world champion to show some key elementary stuff. But key
I
elements.
like the way Magnus retains control over the e5 square. He
Yes.
doesn't allow black any moment to push the knight away.
Yeah, f6.
chase it away, yeah.
Right. And then the other capture, if you play knight takes e5, I think the drawback of this one, yes, and regardless of where the queen goes, let's say maybe c6, so at least you have some ideas. You take with the rook, of course.
Yeah, you don't mind the
It's all
fractured
about
pawn
dynamic.
structure, yeah.
Right. It's all about dynamic piece play, and after the threat of checkmate, knight e4. Yeah. And if I don't like any fortresses,
If you-
knight f3. Yeah. And this is mate. Yeah. Bravo, Robert. It'll allow me.
Still useful here in the show, yeah?
Yeah, allow
a little
me.
trick, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but this looks terrible. This
Yeah?
just looks like,
There's no counterplay for black.
no, you're way too slow.
Is there any kind of defense black still has? Because it looks very bad.
It looks really, really, really bad. Well, I think I tried f6 in some moment, right? Is this the...
You would like to play it here? Right.
I have no lightness about this position, but let's try. At least let me put up some kind of resistance. Okay, so in case of knight g6, I would be very, very pleased if white were to capture this rook, because you know the old line of Bent Larsen. With a knight on f8, I never get mated.
checkmate,
Exactly. And that would certainly be true. So knight takes f8, you should not be considering this type of move. But here,
Is white a move here?
yes.
Can still play rook f4?
But are you checkmating?
I'm
I make
not
another
sure,
move.
yeah.
I make another move. So are you checkmating? And I'll go here. Yeah. How long?
Wake up, Yasser.
Okay.
I'm very primitive.
Knight h8. Yes, I'm victimized. I am very, very nice. Okay, so you really do have a checkmate threat. So hold on. Rook f4. I took a knight. Yes. You went rook h4. I'll go here. So at least I'm going to sacrifice my queen.
Probably there's even no need to, because after knight h8 you can...
Knight e7 mate.
Oops, mate.
Oops, I wanted to give away my queen.
The queen was on d6, yeah.
Yes, so sorry, apologies. I have to...
So you can't move the queen, yeah.
I cannot move the queen, and I'm facing knight h7. Knight h8, I beg your pardon. Oh my.
What if...
King f7?
This looks really
Well,
ugly.
okay,
Put
but
yourself-
that may be desperate. I'm a piece up. I'll thumb my nose. I'm a piece up. I don't see it.
No.
I don't see it.
No, maybe it's too much.
Okay.
Let's go back. So after...
We're trying to channel Magnus and understand his pawn sacrifices and stuff like this. So we're asking the direct question, what about f6?
Well, knight g6 looks so tempting.
Truly.
Yeah, actually I don't see another reasonable. Knight
Well,
g4 is...
if you play knight d7...
Ah, right.
you
Of course, knight d7 is still an option, yeah.
Yeah, are you satisfied that after queen d7, rook f4, White hasn't sacrificed anything, and he's still ready to go rook f1, knight f3, and student body right, yeah? The queen f7, of course, to disrupt the attack, or maybe queen e8, anything to get White off.
Actually, it's not so
track.
easy to mobilize your forces, because at some point you can even consider moves like bishop a6.
An annoying
and
move. Yeah?
you cannot bring the other rook into the attack.
Mm-hmm.
How would you evaluate position when queens come off?
As a great relief.
Of course, yeah. Actually, but I was thinking that maybe black could be better.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
because
easily.
I mean, the bishop is not so bad on b7. It's
Well,
not, the pawn structure hasn't been fixed.
And from black's point of view, he's got a little bit extra. The f6 pawn is not an h pawn, which then the f6 pawn is
there's
more
not
useful.
there's not a hole on e5 where you can jump with
That's right.
your knight.
That's right. So no, you're definitely not trading queens. Whether or not you're still got an attacking position, that's more debatable.
Curious to
So-
see what Magnus has in mind after.
f6 seems. We got a 1-0 up there. I'm not quite sure why we got a 1-0. I didn't
can be over,
resign.
yeah?
Oh, I think we had a checkmate.
I guess checkmate. Yeah.
That's why the 1-0 came
It
up.
was me playing with white against you. Yeah.
Well, it was me going queen g3. All right. So, by the way, he played knight f6.
He did, yeah.
He did. If I see the webcam, do you see the webcam?
Right. Yeah.
For knight f6, and instantly Magnus played queen h4, and this we didn't like, right?
Yeah, because you still cannot really take on e3. Well, that's what we thought.
Well, we weren't. We were thinking rook f6, e takes d2, rook takes d2, and this is where we were trying to give up our queen. But maybe, okay, how about this one? Queen e7 on, rook f2, and at the moment there's no threat, is there? Or no, knight g6 is the winning threat.
Rook f2 here?
Yeah, we saw that knight g6 is the winning threat.
Well,
No, I don't like it.
but you're not really material down here with white. It's free attack.
Yes.
For just a pawn.
Absolutely.
What else? Maybe taking is it really mate actually after g takes f6? Probably it is, but
I wouldn't even want to ask. I'm of the opinion
just
it's
to be
certain.
sure, yeah.
Knight g4. Let's start.
Here
with the
again, knight
obvious.
g4, yeah.
And again,
You have this
queen
mating
h6.
Queen h6. Oh, not this one.
Oh, by the way, knight f6 is also a forced mating threat, right? Knight f6 and it's mating
Yes,
through-
of course. Yeah.
So g takes f6 is just impossible.
Simply impossible. But what else? I mean, you're piece up actually. You're
have
piece
to-
up. You have to take something.
You
with
have to
black,
take on d2. There's no choice. We were looking at rook takes d2 mostly.
Very simple move. Yeah.
Oh, this is-
Actually,
looks
perhaps
awful.
rook takes d2 is not really needed. Maybe you can even start with knight g4.
Is that a killing mating pattern? I wouldn't
Probably
doubt
knight h6 is a threat.
Doubtless.
All the black pieces have been disconnected from the king side, so
Yeah. No, this looks like a disaster.
knight g4 is even stronger probably.
Yeah, this looks like a disaster.
Okay, so that means that taking on e3 is
Also out.
suicide. Yeah.
But then I don't really have a very good suggestion. I think this
I
is
really don't
bad.
like the idea of playing knight d7 and
And coming
coming
back.
back next
Yeah.
move.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I think that Evgeny has
I
actually
really- what I
made
really
a
didn't-
mix up with his move order.
Yeah.
And by the way, the clocks are also decisively
It's 1 hour difference.
one-sided. Yeah,
No, I really didn't like his move G5.
it was mistimed.
Yeah, probably he really underestimated the attacking prospects White has.
Without question, and he's
Yeah.
getting punished for it. As
Very
we can
nice
see.
attacking play by Magnus.
Yeah.
Expecting him to.
Again, it's almost kind of a model attack
Yeah.
for White.
Actually, I introduced the London system to many students of mine, and this game would perfectly fit in their manual.
So thanks to Magnus,
Thanks
you
to
got,
Magnus,
got
yeah.
a new lecture,
Free material, yeah.
a great lecture
Yeah.
for your kids.
No,
Wow,
great. Well,
terrible.
we'll come back to that game.
To see the signing of the score sheets, I'm afraid
Yeah.
to say. I mean, the Russian champion really has poorly. badly
Actually, a
misplayed.
move has been played.
Queen D8.
Queen D8, yeah.
Well, it's better than everything else we were looking at, I must say.
At
I
least the
don't-
queen is defended now on
Yeah.
compared to E7, but
Yeah.
still.
Well, White just has a free attack.
Free attack, yeah.
That's all there is. He hasn't sacrificed anything, and I would probably play Rook F4 myself.
F4. Trying to hold on. Knight
Yes.
E4.
Knight E4. At least in this case, you have a Queen G5 move. This was very good of you. I wanted to play Queen H5, of course, and Rook A. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to play Queen H5, and of course, just bring my Rook to the H line. But here you have, you don't defend F7, you go Queen G5, and you're just in time to avert disaster.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. I mean, I still like White's position. I think White has like a very nice game here. Again, he hasn't sacrificed anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still just nice for White, right?
The queen is not so well placed on G5. Rook G4 is next, so.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
there's still issues with F7 that need to be addressed. So
Yeah.
no, I mean, Queen D8, Queen D6 to D8, and Magnus to play, but we like
is-
his
yeah.
we like his attack very much. Let's go to Wesley So's game.
We haven't
for a moment.
checked that for. Well, a lot of things have happened there.
When did we
where
leave
where
it?
did we leave?
Pick a spot. Yes.
They play the moves we kind of predicted.
Really? There's a
No,
first-
we had a look at this before. Yeah, Bishop E3.
I think we were looking at Knight G5 in some way.
Oh yeah, okay. Probably Knight G5 was a bit waste of time. Yeah.
And D4. C4. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's happening after? There's an E5 pawn hanging. You know? Oh, he played
sorry.
B3.
B4 he played.
Oh, pardon me. B4 takes. Knight
Knight
takes.
takes.
Yeah.
Knight jumps.
Mm-hmm.
Rook back.
Queen C6.
What do you think here? I like black somehow.
I'm not sure.
Me neither. but,
Another move or two, and we'll find out exactly.
yeah,
how,
but actually a very committal move as they played here. Knight C5.
Aha. Nice little tactics, by the way. E6 is hanging.
So take. Now
Right.
knight on C4 can be taken. E takes. C takes. Knight E7. I changed my opinion.
You're changing your opinion. Very good of you, and
Yeah.
clever. Because
Very healthy structure for
for White.
White. Yeah, and I like his next move
Fabiano.
also from Wesley A5,
Very nice. Now that
fixing the queen side.
exactly, and basically making taking away the effectiveness of this majority. I'm sure A5 is really strong. Don't get me wrong, but you have to calculate very forcing variations, and this move D5 is a hard move to resist. I think if you were playing a bullet game, you'd probably play D5 just out of inertia.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think the move is not running away.
True,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but how would it go? How would you see the line developing from D5? Where's the good defense for black? It looks
Where to move the queen?
very natural to play that move.
Probably take. more or less.
Good choice.
I don't like it.
And rook a6.
Maybe queen f4.
Yeah, and here it's just very nice. Just, I mean, visually impactful to see this rook on e6, right? I mean, I don't know. I think white looks great to my eyes. Everything. Queen e2, queen a2. Just, I'm fixated, pardon me, with this powerful rook. I'm mesmerized by the strength of this rook. Maybe there's even better choices. Also, queen b3 has something to be said for it. Just keeping the possibility of a discovered check in the position. And maybe
b5 is...
yeah. So b5 is what it is. Truly, I would be drawn to this if I were white. I would probably have played queen e2. And let's see what actually happened in the game. He played the move a5 and just said to Fabiano, please find a good resource.
There's no need to
rush
here.
Is that what you advise your students if they see a
Well,
good
they're too
move?
young. They're too young to advise them that. So.
Well, no. The idea, the famous line from Michael Tal: if you see a good move, wait, think, maybe there's a better one. Yeah. So, I see a good move d5, but maybe there's a better one. A5.
Because I think black cannot really stop the threat of d5 because he takes d4. I think the endgame is
just
really
very
bad.
nasty.
You're dropping a pawn.
Good point.
Yeah.
Definitely a very good point.
So okay, still this move d5 is there, and also
activating the rook one day.
And then even then you could consider playing the move d5 with the move rook ab1 included.
So a moment ago you were very excited about...
I thought black was in control. But,
somewhere here, and then suddenly this move knight b3. So you think that perhaps this was a key moment and a turning point was this move queen c6, which allowed this shot.
I'm not sure black is fine actually, but optically I like this knight on c4, but maybe it's not that stable.
Well, I don't know. I think your intuition was correct, Robert. That maybe, but that just maybe the move queen c6 was the error. If you can stabilize the knight on c4.
Knight needs outpost, So.
Right, and the other knight could get to e4, and then you're in charge. Then you're boss.
But even here, you give some squares for the white knights as well. Maybe knight c5 or knight e5 at some point. Even here, I'm not sure. Maybe I had a wrong assessment of the position before.
Well, okay, but as it is, we're both very inclined to give Wesley a considerable advantage, which it would be very, very meaningful for the tournament. Again, Fabiano was cruising to what seemed like a certain victory, especially if he had won that ending against Anish. And this would be a huge setback to his campaign to win the tournament. Sorry, we do have some moves in the game of Magnus, and after queen d8, Magnus recaptured, or pardon me, captured, knight e4, and he took
very quickly.
I was a little bit surprised. I just think that Magnus's attack kind of plays itself, and I thought his intention was queen h5. I definitely like white's position even after queen g5. And I wasn't sure where to retreat the queen. E2
but maybe
or
there's a
F3.
little problem. If you retreat, then...
Okay, please help me.
I'm not sure.
What am I missing?
Rook g4 is unpleasant threat, but maybe...
Yes.
Maybe
rook
f5.
f7 is... f5. That I like to see, because now my knight on e5 is a Thor, right?
I agree. But it's not so easy to bring your pieces into the attack.
Really?
Um,
Take.
How to
Which,
take.
yes, that's a big question right away. How to take. Take it this way. Okay. Funnily enough, now I don't have a good square for my queen. That's very irritating, annoying.
Go to E2 or F2?
F2. I'm dreaming about G2, G4 on a good day. And but this isn't exactly what I had bargained for. I had bargained for something a little bit more than this.
Magnus played very, very quickly. He went for the end game. Queenless. What is it? Is it an end game already or queenless middle game?
No, that's hard. How do you what for you is a definition of an ending?
When I can find it in the end game books,
Yeah.
I know. Very hard to define
There you
exactly.
go.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of ideas. So how do you define the ending of the opening? When is the opening over, and when are you in the middle game?
When you have finished your development, brought your king into safety, connected the rooks.
That's it.
That's
For
your
me, it's
point.
the connected rooks. When both sides connect the rooks, the opening is over.
But nowadays that hardly happens.
Exactly.
You know, they run with their H pawn.
As we saw. How I define endings is when the players bring out their kings. You know, when it's safe to bring out your king, then you're in an ending, right? So, for what it's worth, this would still be for me a queenless middle game, because it's not yet safe.
And it's still very sharp actually, because after d takes e4, white decided
Captured.
to take.
Of course.
Take and
Bring his rook
rook
down.
d7.
Yes.
And this bishop doesn't have many good squares, because if
Just
bishop d5, then
you walk into that one. That is clear. And if you play rook b8 after rook f4, perhaps? Or is there something even more forcing?
what to play here?
You want to hit the anvil while it's hot, but maybe you just do something as simple as b3, and you say, okay, your turn.
Yeah, black doesn't have a good move here.
Right, because
Actually,
the problem is...
hold on. You can play rook g4. This is also mate.
Yeah, this is just mating with rook on h8, so you can't move the rook on f8, f7 is hanging, you can't...
It reminds me of some old game. Was it this mating pattern with rooks and knight? I'm not sure. It reminds me of some very classical game.
I wanted to say that in view of this, rook d8 is just simply way too slow. I was hoping as black to sacrifice a pawn and keep... So I would have been very happy in this position if you would oblige me by taking the pawn, yeah? Then I'm happy.
Rook comes to the second next, so black is very active.
Yeah, but unfortunately I think there's a very strong move, c6, and suddenly that will be pawn number 2, and white's pieces are very good. So that is why...
Even the move rook h8 is actually quite nice.
Yes, sweet. That is a classic sacrifice.
Did Magnus play? He played your move, actually.
What was my move? Rook b7. They've reached the position with rook on d7?
Yeah, where was it?
Yes.
Take.
Take.
B takes. Rook d7.
Yes.
Rook a b8. And Magnus played very quickly b3.
And there's
Nice
just
technique.
very unpleasant situation for black.
Black
First
is
of all,
running
he's
out of
down...
moves.
And time. He's down to 5 minutes for the next 15 moves.
Is it that,
Yes.
like any move he player drops material? Or
Yeah, it's like
It's
one
like
of those.
Zugzwang, yeah?
Yeah, it's a kind of a Zugzwang for sure. F6 will knight G6, but also just.
what happens if in case of G6? Is there an immediate way to?
Yes, Rook F4.
Yeah.
Oops, that. So every move, Evgeny has fallen into a position where any move he makes will cost him material. Good grief, this looks hopeless.
Fantastic domination of.
Yeah, the total domination indeed.
Actually, it's very difficult because you also felt that white should keep queens on the board and play for an attack.
Right.
But this is probably
Oh,
way faster.
Yeah, this is instant. All well, just look at what's happening with the rooks. I mean, Kasparov would just say, "But look at the pieces." You know? Rook on d7 is fantastic. Knight on e5 is fantastic, and black's pieces are defending.
Magnus is back.
Magnus is
Yeah.
back. It looks like he's cruising to 2 in a row. Shall we see if
Yeah.
there's some more actions?
Which game
Uh,
you're up to?
let's see, Ding, Laren's game.
Whoa,
David.
a lot of
Navarro.
things have happened. Where we left?
Yes.
After Queen D2. King H8, you're wrong.
King H8. Well, he wasn't satisfied with
Well, it's-
walking into.
It's not something you see very often that you grab a pawn and then
you
very slowly put your king into the corner.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's okay.
Knight b5. Well, okay. Queen trade. Knight a6. Knight d6. Now we got to go back to g8. Yes. Rook. Oh, this is a very unpleasant. You're a pawn up, but you're dying with a full stomach. Oops, that went fast.
Rook FC1.
We saw king g8, rook c1, b6, e3, knight e4. You know, what are the best squares for knights? c6, d6, e6, and f6. And those knights make a beautiful impression. Bishop d7. Okay, so, but David can he's calmed the position down considerably with these trades. e5.
But I'm not sure.
Are you?
David is very happy here.
I'm not sure
White has
either. There's-
control over c-file. This knight on a6 doesn't make a good impression.
Not at all. e5. Normally speaking, you don't want to do this, but okay. And wow, I must say, I really like the way Ding Liren plays chess. What he did yesterday against Sergei Karyakin was fantastic, and what he's doing today really makes a great impression. Wow.
I'm not. I didn't want to
I'm,
use the word hopeless, but
This looks just, again, it kind of, you can't allow knight takes e4 and bishop e3.
or
Then
even
it's
bishop g5.
It's positional
everything, yeah.
domination everywhere. So black has to do something. Is knight
Knight
b-
c5 or?
knight b4? I was going to suggest.
Uh-huh.
Shall we have a look? Knight b4. So where do we go?
Perhaps you can play rook c4.
Rook takes d6.
Knight takes e4.
Yes. That looks very unhappy. That's unpleasant. Yeah.
So
We have to try. Knight b4 is a failure, or a catastrophe. Okay, so one more look. Knight b4, rook c4, knight d3, knight e4, knight c5. Can I struggle? Okay, but it's a very unpleasant task. No,
probably
I'm-
you can even include this move.
Yeah, I'm not at all.
And
Yeah, I'm
even
not.
I'm not sure. Maybe there's a faster way, but even this.
It's disgusting.
Followed by rook c7. Yeah.
I'm disgusted. Okay, so we will have to try knight c5. Oh, excuse me. We'll have to give knight c5 a whirl here. But I was afraid that after bishop e3, I didn't have a good answer. And I don't.
Completely. It actually looks more like a King's Indian, this endgame. It's in the bayonet attack where this bishop on g7 is stuck.
Right. And
Black has taken on e4.
Black has gotten, pardon me, white has gotten in b4,
Yeah,
c5, c5 takes d6, and everything.
Now you have a pass pawn.
Yeah,
as well.
a great breakthrough. Well, for Ding Liren, if he could win this
Actually,
game,
has this? No. This is still the position on the
they
board.
have played king f7. David played
Ah.
king f7.
After d6. I hear king f7, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, very sensible.
The game of the year. where
You-
the
From
Navarra
E1 went up to H8.
Navarra marched his king all the way up the board. That was spectacular.
Yeah.
So here he comes.
He knows
with
how
his
to
king.
use his king. Yeah.
He's a man who likes to use his king. What can I tell you? Well, at least in this case, I understand that after knight e4, he wants to play king e6, where he could threaten
King
the
D5.
very unusual double attack king d5. I mean, it's highly amusing, actually, that that's possible. Well, okay, but continue. And let me defend one of my guys. So, I mean, it should be nice for white, but maybe it's not as completely wipe out that we were fearing a moment
It's a
ago.
bit like the pawn we had in Anish game. Anish had his pawn on c6, which looks very impressive in at first look. But okay, if black controls it, then okay, sooner or later
Blockades it,
you
yeah.
blockades it, or
Yeah.
you can even win the pawn, and it's not so easy.
Yeah, maybe we're just a little bit too enthusiastic. But even having said that, I still admire Ding Liren's play. I mean, I think what he did
No,
was terrific.
I like the way, at least to watch it. He
Yeah.
brings some dynamical touch to the position.
Exactly.
Okay, okay, let's move on.
You all right?
What's going on? Some updating. I'm just.
Yes, of course. Click on the analysis screen for a second. So B2, B3, A5. You can really imagine the vultures gathering, to see how horribly pressed black is about to be. C, A4, pardon me. Magnus just said thank you. I will take that one. And
So black's idea is to play rook b2 and grab the pawns, or
something of that. At a certain moment.
and he's only down to 2 minutes on the clock. Yeah.
Only down to 2 minutes, you
So
say.
which move we are? 27. Yeah.
Wow, only down to 2 minutes. Well, I mean, here it's just like one of those things that you expect that white will crash through, with some kind of move like rook here, f6,
Rook G4,
rook
yeah.
g4.
Yeah.
But I didn't
G5?
I didn't see exactly the win after this.
Knight d7?
97. Maybe I should trade
Rook
rook somehow.
Even rook f7 is an option. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking to attack rook with rook c8, but rook f7. It's not resigns.
It's not a clean way.
No, it's not resigns. So, Magnus to play. Yeah, one of the things that's really gets scary is that when Magnus, everybody's very happy that the Norwegian Viking was sleeping for 4 rounds.
Yeah.
But the guy goes bang bang.
It's like last year actually. Yeah. He
Then he
also
gets on
started with 2 out of 4. He lost his third round game against Wojtaszek.
Yes.
And then
Then he just went on a roll.
Yeah,
And
he
it
went on
was-
a roll, exactly. Yeah.
And he finished +5 or something massive.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, some massive score. So
He played actually.
What has he done?
Bishop a8. He played a5.
Just pushing the pawn. Yeah.
Okay.
No choice.
Rook
Rook
B2?
b2. Yeah.
Probably a6.
Okay.
Or is there another trick now? The rook has left.
A6 looks very, very strong.
Yeah.
And A7 looks very, very strong. I mean, that bishop is... one of these days, rook f4 is going to decide. It's just going to decide the game.
Yeah.
Probably.
Absolutely no move here.
Probably it decides the game when black leaves the last rank.
Yeah, that's why I stopped for a second. Yeah.
Then something like this is going to be curtained somehow. How do knight d7? The bishop
You can
is
even
hanging.
play knight g6 here. Knight g6.
Yes.
And next move rook h4. Yeah.
And now the next move rook h4 because.
Well, rook f7.
Yes. Check. And check.
You can even
yes.
knight f8. Yeah. win the exchange.
Well, never mind the exchange, but issues everywhere, right?
No, I thought
Yeah.
black gives up on
Oh,
the
rook
on
f8,
f8. Yeah,
rook
yeah.
f8. I beg your pardon, yes.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh, okay. This
Looks
could,
so simple.
it looks very simple.
Yeah.
So, in fact, there's no moves. You can't go off from the 8th rank. Another one for the textbooks, a model game of positional domination. And he's played rook b7. By the way, I would have probably played rook b7 as well. After looking at all of these variations where you take
What
on
did Magnus
f7,
play?
he just
Rook
took on
takes
c5.
c5. Ah,
yeah.
right.
He's harvesting all of black's pawns.
Yeah, he's 2 pawns up already.
You know, I played Victor Korchnoi lots of blitz chess in his day as a preparation. And he would shout out in such moves, "That's 2!" You know, like, that's 2 pawns, right? And like, you know,
You're supposed to
very strongly suggesting it's time for me to resign. You know, that's 3!
If the clock is
Correct?
correct, then it's
No time.
he needs to make a move now.
7 seconds. He'll play rook a7 before his
Very
flag.
well in time, Yasser.
Yeah, before his flag falls, he'll play rook a7. But he
I
did
think-
it, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Question is how much time Magnus will take here. And what he will play.
Well, again, these guys, you can't lose concentration. You have to be, you know, fully focused, and you know, you're 2 pawns up. You're cruising to victory. One of the things that you can never allow yourself to do is take a deep breath and let.
That's my mistake
all the
usually.
time. You know, you've got to win your winning positions, and so now, I mean, Magnus has to reset his way of thinking. He's got the game in hand. I would probably play a move like knight here. 2 ideas. One idea is that my rook could potentially come across, in the words of Alexander Grishuk, in order to say hi to the king.
Nice one.
And the other point of the knight coming there is that I could then bury the knight on b6, try to pick up this pawn.
But still not so easy to queen your A pawns. Yeah.
No, nothing
Probably
like that. It's just
yeah.
now it's about grabbing more, you know,
Yeah,
just grabbing more pawns. But again, you know, Magnus needs to.
He plays a move. He plays your move. You're just in time. 1 second. Before
Yeah. And he's resigned.
Resigns, yeah?
Yeah. He recognizes that the knight comes to b6. A fantastic. What do you say?
Yeah,
Just,
great game.
You know, tip your hat. That was a great game.
I think
by
Magnus
the
is
world
pointing
champion.
to the g5 square, as we can see on the screen. So probably he considers that as the real mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very easy.
No. He makes it look easy. It's
Yeah, yeah.
not easy, but he really has found suddenly his form after a slow start, which is not was typical of Magnus. But suddenly when he's played, I mean, every move was just somehow optimal today. He looked really, really good.
It didn't look like that after 15 moves.
Well, it looked like a decent
solid,
position.
long game.
A grind ahead.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was just a wipeout. Robert, we're going to take a break, and
Sure.
we hope that we will be able to get Magnus with us if we can. But again, that'll be our hope. We'll take a 10-minute break, 15-minute break, and we'll be back with our live coverage of the 2016 Tata Steel Chess Tournament. Robert, it's fun. We'll be back.
More action to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome back to the sixth round of the Tata Steel chess tournament. And we are back earlier than expected because we have a first victory, first result of today. None less than Magnus Carlsen. Welcome Magnus, congratulations first on your victory.
Thank you.
Was it that easy as it looked or?
Yeah, it was, another London system. It's a little bit nicer to go bishop f4 once he's committed to e6. Since then, well, some systems are not possible. Anyway, he has many ways to play. All of them are reasonable, of course, but also white has decent play. And now he spent a lot of time here. I suspect if I go, I had many options here, like bishop g5 or knight e5, then queen c7. I didn't really see anything, so I just went rook e1. And he can't like take on f4 and then it take and something like this, but it's quite passive for black.
Sure, yeah.
And a little bit better.
Suffering, yeah.
Yeah, so he went knight e7. I think knight g6 is sort of dubious.
I will tell Yasser because he initially he liked the plan of putting the knight on g6.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's a very normal plan, but this structure with the pawn on g6 is a little bit tricky because it becomes that much harder to dislodge the knight from e5. And while of course there's nothing terrible for black here, but my plan is simply that I want to play f4. Then I want to put my queen on the h file, knight to g5, and mate him.
Right. Yeah.
And
well, if we were looking at the move knight e4 here.
yeah, knight e4 is possible, but I have many options, so I shouldn't take first of all, because then he takes back, and my f pawn is frozen. But I think maybe just to play f4.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, then now I probably want to take and bring something to the h file, and just with this knight is just this knight is just so strong that it's much more pleasant for white to play.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then g5. Yeah, here I just got very excited about the possibility to play for an attack, so I just went for it.
But you were already much time ahead on the clock here.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was much ahead, and in positions like this, I don't. There isn't even that much to calculate because I always have at least a draw.
But you're very satisfied with the draw here, I think.
No, I wasn't satisfied with the draw, but it feels like it should be.
It should be more, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, maybe he has a way to save himself, but I wasn't so sure. And then knight d7, queen h5. Again, I could have like taken and rook f4, and I'm better, but perhaps not much. So I wanted to do something more interesting. So he had some tries here, like g6, and then I believe if I take it. I don't see how I can win because this stupid pawn h3 just ruins everything. So I should go queen h6, and now I can't see what he will do. So if he takes on e3, then I just go knight f3.
The other one's coming, yeah.
Coming to g5, and if he takes on e5, then rook f4. I don't see what he can do. And yeah, just now as I'm saying that, I see that he can play g5. That was not very impressive, but I suspect this
G4,
rook g4
yeah.
or even rook f6 maybe is still very good for white. I should have seen that. I was a little bit too excited around.
But you were playing against his time trouble as well, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like yesterday, or?
But here I felt that my position was much better objectively than it was yesterday anyway. And now, yeah, after queen d8, I think he's just lost. But I thought he had to.
Knight h7.
Yeah, I thought he had to play this. And if rook f4, he can go g5. and queen g3, f6. I don't see what I have, so I should go ef4. And I have a very pleasant position. Bishop a6, I go rook f2, cd, cd. Knight is coming to f3. He will have to play.
Clearly better for white.
Clearly better. He will probably have to play f6 at some point. Then my knight will come to g6. But it's not. It's still sort of a game. So, but here after queen d8, knight d4 takes.
Complete domination.
Yeah, complete domination. Yeah.
Well, very nice, very easy, very smooth victory. As I said, like last year, you started slowly.
Yeah.
You're back, 2 out of 2, last 2 rounds. So.
Yeah, of course, it could have gone differently yesterday, but fortunately, I didn't see the opportunities he had. So, ignorance is bliss.
All right, very nice words from you, Magnus. Thank you for having you here, and wish you all the best. When are you playing tomorrow?
Janov, I think.
Okay, well, all the best for that, and good luck. Hope to see you next rounds back here.
Thank you.
All right. Imitate his play, but it's simply impossible.
Yeah, he did a great job against Evgeny. I'm looking at the game that is ongoing in progress between Anish Giri and Shak Mamidarov. When we left it, it was a very sharp position here. We looked at the move b6, and we were anticipating that Shak would play knight c5, as I recall. Shak actually played knight f8, and how did the game continue? This pawn really does look juicy. That's a good pawn. Knight g6,
I really
rook
don't
b1,
like Black's play here. I'm not sure.
queen e7. Still okay. You can imagine moves like h5. On a good day, it's nice to kind of soften up the king. Queen e7 allowed his tactical trick, c7, and the knight is planting itself on the c6 square, which happened, and Anish gobbled an exchange, and is an exchange to the good. When we were on break, I was wondering what I would do here as white, because, okay, you're exchange up and you want to prove that everything is nice for you. I thought that Anish was going to actually play the move either a4, which we understand, you know, you just try to open up the position, or even bishop e5. Bishop a5 with a tempo, you know, because you want to get your setup with your pawn on e4 and kill this queen and kill the knight on f6. Instead, Anish played knight d5, and at first I was like really taken aback because I thought, well, wait a minute. Didn't Anish allow the move queen d5?
There should be something.
In fact, he could just play it quietly with rook b3, just keeping.
Right.
But my first reaction was like, oh my gosh, you know,
Unprotected pieces,
like all of these unprotected pieces on the d file, and I thought for a moment that Anish may end up having to play a move like bishop a5, and then you get, you know, 3 pieces for 2 rooks, and that's a very strange imbalance.
Not what
right?
you really want with white.
Well, not the way you were expecting to play it when you were in exchange to the
Exactly.
good, right?
Yeah.
But that was not what happened. In fact, h5, bishop a5, knight d5, and we're here. Okay, clearly Shak is in hustling mode. I mean, he's an exchange down, and he's trying to make as many threats as possible, and we do have the move queen e2. Okay, pawn on e3 is hanging. Oops. Little family fork on tap. So queen e2, protecting the e3 pawn. And now, are there any tricks in the position for Shak? He needs some.
Anish is sitting there in a pose that he wants to reply instantly.
He's like he's ready to write down any retort, any move his opponent makes. The times, 13 minutes, 14 minutes. queen e2 again.
Anish is going to move.
And now we have rook d8 to e8.
Rook to e8. Yeah.
Well, comfortable exchange. I would just play e4, of course, driving this knight that's very nicely located out of the center, also killing the queen's power on the diagonal.
Actually, I think it makes sense that he refrained from playing the move a4. I
Yeah.
mean,
Just
if there's no need to keep that extra pawn on the board.
yeah, just and to deal with black's activity, push him back first.
So
Yeah.
knight e7 played. Yeah?
Knight e7 is played. And still, well, white has to prove it. I think he will. And
You know what I think is a good
yes.
move?
What's it?
Bishop c7.
Bishop c7. That looks pretty good. Just offering to trade bishop. Yeah, well, I mean, always, you know when you're in a material down, you're doomed every time pieces get traded. And so
Sure.
the whole idea is when you are material down to try to avoid as many trades as you can. Against bishop c7, I would play bishop d4. Yeah, and then
That's still the idea.
on a good day, I might have some opportunity to anchor. So, oops, sorry, excuse me. So, bishop c7 is not bad, but
Maybe.
is there something simpler, more simple?
You want to get a bishop off by taking it? Or? I'm not sure if you really want, because the knight comes to c4.
Yes,
Yeah.
in truth, I do want it. By the way, I do want to get rid of that bishop, but you're right. The knight would be on c4. But how stable is it? Let's say if I just did make this trade and come back. Oh, excuse me, sorry, and come back. Pity I can't play some marvelous move like queen g5 and a4. Well, it's still okay. It's a struggle. I mean, at least Anish is not yet
Still some
claimed.
work to be done. But
Still work to be done, but very favorable situation for Anish. Let's go. I was seeing this very nice game that Wesley So was playing
he
against
was
our
outplaying
tournament leader.
before the break. Yeah.
Yes. So when we had left it, there was this nice move a5 by Wesley. Oops, let me turn off my... okay, oops, we're here. No. Gosh. Okay, a5 was the move we had left it at. Rook c8, d5 at last. Rook e6. This is the position I said I was very enamored with white's position here. I thought that this was a huge positional
This is
advantage.
fantastic, really fantastic.
Advantage in queen e2. I just
Looks like a Benoni somehow.
that went very, very well for white.
Yeah.
Yes. c4. Okay, doing his best to try to
drops
mix
the pawn,
things.
or what, do we miss something? Yeah.
Rook e4. As you say, he took a pawn.
Some trick still.
Well, there's a back rank issue. Okay, so let me get up to date with the game. So after rook e8, there was a forced trade of rooks.
We get this 3 versus 2 on one wing. Yeah.
Wow. I must say, I've had experiences of knight endings with knight and 4 versus knight and 3, which is very, very good.
With
for-
queens or
Without the
without?
queens. Just a straight knight ending. I can't say, I have a lot of experience, but I can't say that I've ever had this ending whatsoever. You?
No, I lost once a queen ending, 3 versus 2 on one wing, which is possible, of course, but
Talent.
no way. I'm just going out the other way.
How did you do that? Was your king badly placed, first of all?
Yeah, it depends on king safety in
Yeah,
general.
yeah.
I mean, it was not ideally placed, of course, but with knights, queens, it's always tricky somehow.
Yeah, and here, but you talked about king safety here. You should say, well, black does have at least a king safety position. So
Well, you have to be careful here already first
For
move.
example, h6,
Yeah, that's the move you have to play, I think, because
knight
white to
g5, queen
yeah, no, white to
e6,
move is
knight e5.
queen a8. Yeah.
Oh, pardon me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. This is a direct threat, of course.
Yeah.
Oops. Let me just click that off. So, threat of check, and you picking up the knight. So, you're almost obliged to play a move like h6.
Which is the move you like to play?
In general, yes. You
take
want
away
to play
from the g5 square.
right, exactly. Now, how awkward is this? Is this really? I mean, without question, the engine is giving some very nice 1.5 or something, but it's not.
But there's an immediate question, because if you move the queen, let's say you play queen f6, bad
Okay.
move. You have queen a8.
And that picks up
That picks up the knight.
the knight, clear. So we have
So
to
that's
play
that's
some
a question already.
queen e8,
Queen
perhaps?
e8, yeah.
New variation.
Actually, that's probably a good move.
Queen d6, knight
Knight
f6, and well, it's a long,
Long torture.
long torture indeed. Let us see. Let's get an update on this game.
h6 has been played.
Right.
And then queen c8.
As anticipated, h6, queen c8. Now, my gut, if I'm black, I think I want to trade queens. I want to go in a knight and 2 versus knight and 3 without queens.
Yeah, sure.
I would avoid it with 4 versus 3. With 2 versus 3, I think I would play queen back. And probably, from white's point of view, white should keep the queens with the move queen c4. At least in this kind of case, well, I'm not letting him get the setup with the knight on f6. So something to play for here for Wesley.
It will
and
take some hours. Wait a second. Is so is an hour up, or they've just made move 40? I'm not sure. We haven't checked the time control.
At the moment,
Eason
first of all, they've just made time
could be that
control.
Karana still
It has to make move
40.
40.
Yeah,
Yes,
that explains something.
I don't think that there was an hour difference between them on the clocks. All right. And again, we'll just check in on Shaq. We left it here. And bishop c3. He didn't like your move bishop c7, Robert. He played bishop c3, and he didn't like to trade bishops. Bishop dropped back to b8, and this is the current position. Well, an exchange. Nice position for Anish.
Anish is pushing here.
Definitely. That was Caruana, and we haven't seen it for quite a while. This was the game
A long time ago, yeah.
Oops, I have to turn this off.
Where we left.
We left it about these
rook
parts.
e8, yeah.
Yes,
An
the
idea.
move we expected, rook e8, and then came knight d3.
Traded bishops. Yeah.
You went bishop. The problem is if you try to take on e2, I will take on f6, you will recapture, I will take on c5, and I'll take on d5? No, or yes?
In the
Yes.
meantime, actually, we have another result.
Another result?
It's something we didn't really expect, but it's the game between Ding Liren and Nafara.
Dingler,
It was a
our
draw.
leader.
It's a
Wow,
draw.
David,
Yeah.
David kept it.
Yeah,
That was a very unpleasant task.
Yeah, no, that it was not so clear. We felt that the D pawn was a real trump
Mhm.
for white. Real trump is something controversial in the US now.
Yeah, Donald Trump. Yes.
No, but I'm not sure. I think Ding spoiled it at some point.
It looked like he had a very clean
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah.
Let's just finish our
Sure,
look
yeah.
of Sergey and Pavel, because Pavel also has a +1 score in the tournament. He's a recipient of an entire rook against Shak Mamidarov. And wow, that was cute. And this is their current
they've
position.
Shook hands as well.
And it looks like a draw has
Another
been
draw.
agreed.
What happened finally?
Just this position.
Petered out.
It petered out.
Is move 30 again? They agreed to a draw, or before move 30?
A lot of things happening.
Move
So-
27, Queen D2, draw was agreed, and time is not a real factor.
But
E-
is
eight
there
men-
a draw rule here? By
No.
move 30 or not?
No, no, I think we saw a very, very early draw in like the first round. We drew somebody very, very, very quickly. Okay, there's a.
Wait a
issue.
second, there's something went wrong. Look at the screen now. It's the arbiter.
Is Pavel is correct. The chief arbiter is correcting a
Something
clock.
goes wrong.
Kari
It's only the hour has been added to.
to Wesley.
I've never seen that before.
Wesley got one, and the other. You got yours. How come I didn't get
You're
mine?
palmed down. You
Yeah.
get punished for misplaying the middle game.
Okay, so they had to, and apparently he got his extra bonus time a little bit too early. That's
I've never seen that before.
amazing. Me either.
Or it's perhaps this clocks when you 40 times push the button.
Yeah.
Then you get the time added automatically, or
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just very, very surprised. I just checked in briefly because that move, Anish had played after Bishop B8, Queen B2, and I was a little bit more than, well, I was more than curious as to how Shaq intended to deal with this threat of Bishop takes G7. Whether he would play F6 and maybe allow Bishop F6, I don't know. Shaq never wanted to,
No
to
way
shirk a
back.
challenge,
No
you
way
know.
back, yeah.
No way back. Has played the move F5.
go
Wow.
in here.
Going, that's all in. Yeah, I would probably play rook E1
Yeah,
myself.
it's kind of a tricky move actually.
Yeah, that G7 pawn certainly is not running away now. And in the meantime, I would just want to,
Retaining control.
Yes, exactly. Trying to shut down this queen, not to allow black any threats. Sorry, I was going to go around the horn, and I wanted to come to the game of Hu Yifan versus,
End game. Wow.
what's the body count? 2, 4, 5? 5, 5. The check is on the board. When did we leave it? Boy, it seems like we
Out
left
of
it.
the opening, move 10,
Yes.
11, something like that. Knight E4.
Yes, that's right. We were at these parts. Knight E4, Bishop D5, Bishop D3, F5.
You got a Grunfeld. You
Yeah.
got to undermine the center.
Wow, F5. Okay, that was a big move. Knight C5. I wouldn't want. I'd probably have played knight on E4 to D2 myself.
Yeah.
Just kind of keeping control of
Controlling.
everything. But that was not Yifan's choice. She played knight C5. There was a trade, and there goes a pawn. Okay.
Magnus also took the pawn on A2 in the Grunfeld, yeah?
Exactly.
And also H4.
Luke also played H4. Bishop B3. Knight D5. So some attack. I find this hard to believe. I think black is defending quite nicely here. Queen D6, Queen C3. Bishop E4. Okay. Rook H4. Oh, this is actually quite an intriguing game. Lots of
Very sharp,
strategic
yeah.
battles today, I must say. Takes, knight f6, check, and here we are. Let me get an update. Knight, pardon me, rook check, king up, rook came over to C1. Very direct idea of check and start.
Is there a possible repetition in the air, or?
How so?
I'm not sure. King D2? Rook F1. I'm not sure it's good at all.
And you think that this is a possible repetition?
Not sure it's forced. Probably there are some ways to keep on playing. Maybe move knight D3 here.
Knight D3, then there is this annoying check.
King D1 and still B3.
D3, yeah. And this rook on
Yeah.
C2 feels
Cannot
like
really
a
move your
tick.
knight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like it's really in there, right? This is probably irritating for white. I think
Yeah,
I
it's
like
not what you want.
not
exactly.
what you want. No, not
You
exactly.
could do the same actually
In a better way.
with the king on by playing king d2 here.
Yes. And you mentioned rook f1.
Maybe now knight d3.
And that's a much better version indeed. So probably rook f1 isn't very good. Maybe rook g1.
Uh-huh.
Variation. Trying to
But
provoke
you've
something.
also to reckon with moves like g5 next,
Right.
and knight e4.
Yeah, so like the idea is that at least in a case like this, you can get in something like g4
Or
where
even knight e4 right away. Or
knight e4 right away, yeah? After g5.
I believe black is too active here.
Yeah. Yeah, the rook is
There's
very...
no real way for white to utilizing the majority on the king side.
Exactly. So, looks like a well-played, even position thus far. All right, and I'm just going to check in on Loke van Mel. The fight, unfortunately, for the last place in the tournament, it's ongoing.
Shouldn't write him off. It's still early in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it is such a marathon. We left it at... Remember this cool moment where we're looking at moves like e4 and rook c3 and stuff? g5.
Wow.
King g1. Queen takes.
Very interesting move, g5.
Check. Rook d1. Queen e6. Going after the f5 pawn. Oh, f2 is hanging at the end. I can't just...
You can't take on f5.
Right. So that game continued rook d3. And Luke's a pawn up.
It's a pawn up. Yeah.
I mean...
It's not so easy still.
It's a great compensation for white, but it is a pawn. Oops, that went fast. Sorry, I'll just click off. a4 takes, c4.
Just a pawn?
Just a pawn. Probably it's more likely a draw because white's active rooks always give him a compensation.
Yeah, and white
And
black
also
has some
this-
weaknesses as well. Huh?
Yeah, also this black structure means that black's king is also compromised. So for example, a move like a5. I have a doubt that black's king is safe enough. This is closer to a draw
I agree. Yeah.
than a win for Luke. Having said that, Luke is very happy. Yeah, we left it, and it was sort of like this very nice. We were full of praise and admiration for Ding. Here, I think we were expecting a move like f3. By the way, we had a move. We more or less reached this position, and I thought, okay, this threat of king d5 is going to provoke us to. This threat of a double attack should provoke us to playing f3. That was not Ding's choice. He played rook c4, rook back, rook c8. That's a surprise move.
Looks very strange to me. But
Okay, I don't really know what's going on anymore. White's a little bit better, but not at
it's
draw.
similar to this King's Indian endgame we've discussed before.
Yeah. And, whoa, wait a minute. No, now it's dead. Yeah, I thought for a moment there. And a draw was agreed. Great defense by David Navarra. Yeah,
Good result for him today.
absolutely. But for Ding, that means that he's kept his +2 score, as Magnus Carlsen, of course, joins him also with +2.
Yeah, so Magnus is joining the lead now, yeah, probably, because Fabiano is not going to...
And if anybody wins, it would be Wesley, and it would be +2 for Wesley.
Yeah, so
So it
Wesley will join.
Them in a tie.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, we have left it at these parts, and Fabi is about to establish, I think.
So they
right
hadn't
setup.
actually reached move 40 yet before we discussed it.
Ah,
Yeah.
that was what
So they got
happened.
additional time
Well, Wesley got a whole hour
Ma-
out of the blue, right?
Maybe they played some game before the round started with the clock. You know,
Right.
something wrong. has
Right,
happened,
right,
I'm not sure.
right. Sometimes, you hit the clock twice or
Before the game
something.
starts, yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure that it's working. I don't know, but was really a surprise. we can expect a lot on Wijk aan Zee,
But actually, it's still.
because he hasn't made.
And now
his,
it's exactly in the moment. Now it's added. So
Yes.
there's only a 10 minutes difference.
and Queen G6 by Fabi. Well, again, a very, very long grind. You're a pawn up. You're happy for your extra pawn.
What are the? How would you evaluate the winning chances here for white?
Something like, I'm going to say 55%.
That much, yes, still.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm just saying out of 10 games, I'd expect white to score 5.5 out of 10.
Ah, right.
Yeah. I think to score 6 out of 10 would be, I mean, assuming, you're playing a really elite grandmaster at this level.
Actually, I don't think white has really winning chances here because black has ideas with knight f4.
Yeah, well, okay, so from white's point of view, it would be great if he could set up a position where he has g4, h5, knight on e5, and pawn on f3, right? Then,
Yeah.
Then,
It's very difficult to get it in.
to achieve.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine we start with a move like here, for example, yeah? Knight e5. So I'm hoping you won't stay on the diagonal so that I'll disturb you with queen f2 check. Pardon me,
What
c2
if
check.
queen b1 first here?
Okay, that definitely encourages
And
me.
queen e4.
Queen
And the reason
e4.
I gave a check first is that now knight f7 is not possible because of queen f4. Queen h4
so,
even.
Yeah, that's with a check. So that unfortunately forces me to return. So that means knight e5 is not a good move. Huh. Well, okay. It's kind of annoying. I'll play queen c4 with the idea of just keeping your knight at bay. There's no knight f4 anymore in the position. Knight f6.
Yeah.
Okay. Knight f6.
As long as you retain some control over the diagonal.
Yeah.
So queen f5 here probably.
Well, again,
Queen e4 even. Yeah, sure.
I'd probably want to go into this knight ending again. It's not 100% that this knight ending isn't a torture. It probably is. Look at Black's king. Black's king is in a kind of a box. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of moves for you to get the king back into civilization. In the meantime, white is dreaming of very nice pawn construct and bringing the king to f5. So maybe queen e5, maybe your queen f5.
I think at some point there's still a chance to offer the trade of queens, and as long as there's no need to
rush. Yeah.
White also needs to play a couple of moves to
carefully
improve. And okay, if he wants to advance his pawns, then with queens on, it's much easier to
make perpetual check threats.
For example, yeah.
But in this position, if you would, okay, let's do it in another way. Help me a little bit. You'll go give me a check. I'll tell you what I think.
Queen f5. Oh.
You
want to play queen f4? Yeah.
Well, no,
queen d4?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to just play along. Yeah.
As long as knights are on the board, anything is possible.
That's right. Our favorite piece, right? The knights. So, it's not easy for white to get the f3, g4, h5 construction. What you want to do is put your pawns kind of like a picket fence here on f3, g4, h5. Put the knight on g6 and life is good, right? It's just over. But it's very hard to get that set up. I may have to play it very slowly, g3, and, bring my king to g2 before, making the leap. Still? Okay, a big grind. Anish. Where are you, Anish? You're just one step above. And Wesley, so. Whoa. We left it at the queen b2, f5. Typical Shaq. Queen b3.
Class move.
Really a very class move. I like that move very, very much. Darn. I mean, Shaq's best efforts of trying to create some tactical problems for his opponent are not working. He's doing his best.
White is winning a pawn, or less.
And that's in fact exactly what happened. White won the pawn and has really shut down Black's counterplay as well.
Absolutely hopeless.
Now it's looking more and more hopeless indeed.
Very nice.
Anish is playing, well, we've expected it from the start, but he's finally producing his best chess. He's had a really, really awful start. It could have been -2.
Yeah.
And here he is, a whole exchange. Now Shaq doesn't even have a pawn
He doesn't
as a
have a trick,
compensation, and no tricks either.
Exchange and no position. Yeah.
No. So this is good technique, wonderful play by Anish as Shaq tried to mix it up tactically and got shut down. Wesley, we saw
Kayakin was drawn already. Draw of Ding Liren.
Yes.
Nafara.
Luke is still playing, and Hui Fan, we weren't sure. Just a second, what's going on? We left it around these parts. Yeah, this was our analysis, right?
C5 here.
That was not our analysis. Yeah, we had done well as far as achieving this position, but we didn't anticipate C5. Whoa, what is going on? Rook, knight of... May I ask?
Wij is down to a minute, or they still need to reach move 40.
And it is move 35 at the moment. So, can Hu Yifan capture a pawn? I'm assuming Wei will play c4, and she captured in c5, instead. Very reasonable. Knight e4
Isn't
check.
this just better for white? Or?
It's certainly better for white, no question. Some moves very unexpected from Black's point of view. And we have a result. It looks like Mickey Adams has drawn
two
with Luke
kings
Brennan in the center.
in front of each other. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, what we expected. Probably there was no way to make progress for Black. White was too solid, controlling the light squares, active rooks.
I agree. I mean, I just like to see. Oh, they actually just
They repeated moves.
agreed to a draw in this position. Aha, a repetition.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for Mickey Adams, he needs to stop the...
They're laughing. Anish is making some joke now.
Yeah. Mickey needed to stop the bleeding, but at the same time, to recover some rating points. He had white today against the lowest rated player in the field. Where is he going to get his points? That's a question he'll be asking himself. And
It's a tough and long tournament.
no question. So, can Oyifan get something here? What would you recommend for white?
Well, a king move.
Very good, Robert. Very
Not
good.
Too much choice. 33%.
Yes. Let's go with king d3,
King
right?
d3.
Yeah. Given
It's a forcing move.
knight takes c5.
King c4.
Absolutely. knight e4. What else? Yeah. And can we just tickle that knight for a moment?
Yeah, should we point out that king takes b4 doesn't really do?
Well, because?
I'm not sure. I thought,
Okay.
I thought just rook f1.
Probably. Rook f1. And black is ready to play king g6 in one day. Pardon me.
Still a long way for the white king to get a pawn on b7. So.
Exactly. And pawn on f2.
And probably you can just take with a knight. There's no need to trade rooks.
Yes. But here I like king d4 because the pawn I'm after isn't one of these doubled b pawns.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm actually after this guy. Looks like Oyifan has everything to play for here.
Yeah, she's on top. Let's make a let's have another look at the
Anish.
There are some developments there.
All right.
The queens have been traded.
I'm thinking that Shaq is being dragged to his doom after this queen trade. Rook d8. Okay, I recognize the threat, but besides the threat to the knight, I don't see anything to be done.
So move.
Knight f2, and maybe on a good day,
Yeah, but
it's over.
yeah,
It just
probably
looks,
black will still take on g3, but it doesn't really help. Actually, I'm not sure if it's really helpful.
Or harmful, in fact, yeah. No, this looks no threats. There's simply nothing to play for.
Yeah, Mamdiarov has 1.5 minutes, but only one move to make. Well, it's Anish's turn, of course, after rook d8, but knight f2 feels so good.
Yeah. And even knight c5, something to be said for knight c5 too, no?
Yeah, same purpose actually.
Yeah.
Pawn on e6 is hanging as well.
Yeah. This looks terrible.
Wait a second, can I?
Yes, please.
I don't think it's with the rook c8. There are no
rook
tricks
c8?
on the c5. I can simply take on a6 probably. Yeah, that's the way you solve the problems.
Yes. They're not major.
No.
Not major ones. So very pleasant position for Anish as he's an exchange to the good. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, see if maybe we can find some other willing victims to share their thoughts. Very strategic round, and we hope you'll join us as we'll come back in about 10 minutes. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our live coverage of the 2016 Tata Steel Tournament. I'm here with Luc Van Velle, who will tell us about the ups and downs of his tournament. Luc, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Well, we were on a bus ride home yesterday from the Nemo Museum, and you were the one telling me the bad news that somebody had pointed out that yesterday you had a clean win against world champion.
Yes, well, that was not surprising because I got into time trouble and he decided to gamble. Which
Yes.
is, I know Magnus is willing to go quite far. I mean, just
In risk-taking.
yeah, risk taking. I mean, he's not the Kramnik type who cares a lot about if it's really correct what he's doing and taking risk and so. But basically, well, I spent a lot of time in the game because I had such a nice position before,
Mm-hmm.
and well, also Magnus he agreed today that simply he's basically busted in this type of position we had.
Mm-hmm.
But well, I didn't find.
That was the moment where you played Rook C3, which seemed...
No. Even
Oh.
before. I mean, basically the type of position we had in Grunfeld is very nice position, like we discussed in the bus. Yeah.
Yeah.
But somehow I didn't manage to find this move. I hadn't.
Should I
Yeah.
bring up the game for
Sure.
us? Because very nice from yesterday. I have to go up to... Just a second, I've got to get... Do you see it? There's a Wijk aan Zee. It should say Amsterdam. I don't see it. Wait a minute. Challengers? No, here it is. Right? No? There
I
it is.
see
Amsterdam.
yeah.
There it is. Okay, and here's your game yesterday. So essentially you're saying this is maybe after, say, Queen B3 or earlier.
Yeah,
You're very satisfied around here.
Yeah, it's a very nice position, and well, actually here I had to play this move, Knight B5.
Right.
Okay, obviously there's a threat on C7,
Clear.
and well, but let's say if he plays, oops, not Rook C8, let's say Knight D7. Well, I have a lot of moves, but I can play Bishop to
Most
D3.
forceful is Bishop
Yeah,
D3.
and it's simply a very dangerous position. All my pieces are good,
Yes.
and it's not in the typical Grunwald position where black can attack D4, which is really not possible here because it's just pawn D4 is
Well defended.
yeah.
Very nice.
So well, I had a few options here. This was not so good, not so bad. Also, I think here I should have played B4.
That's a different approach.
Yeah, and the idea is simply just to stop queen from going to A5.
In a lot of areas. So you include A6.
Yeah, so he has to play A6 because B5 is red. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I just play Bishop D3.
Aha.
So here it's just it's a very nice position still for white.
Agreed.
However, so this was Queen D1 was well. I had the idea, of course, that Queen D1 to bring the queen to G4, but and well, originally I wanted to play Queen G4, but then finally I decided not to.
Why?
Because I saw he would simply play Knight F6.
And you don't checkmate him on the h5?
No, because let's say here you can just go queen h5.
Ah, annoying.
Yeah.
Ah,
And okay, then we have a normal position, which well, I might outplay him, but maybe not.
very good.
Yeah. So, so,
By the way,
so.
still in that position of the queen h5, I have a
Yeah. No.
I have a preference for white.
Yeah. Well, white should be better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But well, if
You were
I'm-
playing for more.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to change the gears when you just have an idea of mating the guy and suddenly you're going to play some endgame.
Right.
But maybe actually I was changing gears a bit later. King f1, still playing for mate. Knight f6, bishop e5 here, and well, now actually didn't see anymore what to do, and now I just play this move queen d2, which is basically not the best move, but it's okay. We have now kind of equal position.
Mm-hmm.
Knight g4, takes, and f3. Now, normal people, they will play here knight f6,
Of course.
and I'll play knight f6. I'll play something like king f2,
Mhm.
and well, we have a fairly balanced position.
Yes, which Magnus also thought the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
So, and here Magnus started to think, and then when he started to think, I realized that well, something was coming up.
Yeah.
But,
Since knight f6
yeah,
was waiting.
So what
Could he possibly imagine?
Yeah. So, and then he came up with this queen g5. I mean, played quickly, of course.
Instant, your gut reaction was like, something's wrong with that move. That can't be a good move, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
How can that be?
Yeah,
How could that work?
yeah. Of course, you're still in shock for some time, but
Right.
but okay. Then you okay. Let's take the piece.
Yes.
Okay.
Let him prove
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And then rook takes d4. Well, okay, I was not so impressed by his attack.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found this move king e1. I was quite happy
Which
about.
he
Yeah.
confessed he had missed.
Yeah.
He was thinking that you had to play some other moves, but king f1 was
Yeah.
nasty.
Basic idea is that after rook takes g4, knight e4 is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he cannot take because of the pin on the c file.
Mm-hmm.
So and if queen e5, rook c5, and
You've seen this in the
Yeah.
game, yeah, and this was your hope. That
Yeah,
would be easy for you.
yeah. So I thought, okay, Magnus blunders, I'm going to win the game, fine. But okay, so queen e5. I thought, well, after I went king e1, I had the feeling he was going to play queen e5.
Mm-hmm.
Knight e2, rook takes g4. My first intention here was, of course, to change queens,
Right.
and I thought it was slightly better for me.
Mm-hmm.
However, then I thought, okay, what about e4?
Very strong. You
Let's-
kill the bishop. You're threatening queen h6
Yeah.
check. Everything's in your favor.
Yeah, and I had the feeling that he had to do. I didn't really calculate much, but this was by intuition that I felt like he cannot take on g2. So, but okay, but then he took on g2 anyway, because if he doesn't, I'm just a piece up against two pawns, and
Right.
well, that's very.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for me. Yeah. So he took here, yeah, and somehow now I'm just, yeah, and this I had like here like 3 minutes, and somehow I couldn't find this idea of queen h4 check
To trap the rook.
to trap the rook. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because queen h4, of course, you look at checks, and
Yeah.
and you continue. You look at another check. You go
Yep.
queen h4 check, queen h6, king e7. What am I doing? And you stop you stop yourself from
Yeah.
considering further.
yeah, so g5. Okay, because in the game later I made this move queen h3 just to attack the rook, and then he went queen g5. But I didn't really think about that he could about this move g5 queen and then queen h3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, Magnus said that he wanted to play queen
G5.
Queen g5, yeah, and then yeah, then it's a very nice win because it's e5 check, and it's kind of king takes,
Mate in one.
yeah, mate in one, king e7 is queen b4.
And did you see e5 during the game? Well, you just didn't expect him to play queen g5. You've seen g5.
Yeah, I mean, my main concern was g5. Yeah, so
Right.
I didn't even think about queen g5 to be honest.
Mhm.
But
Well, you would have seen it instantly with
Yeah.
e5 check as, yeah.
so yeah, so but okay, it's how to say it is. Okay, Magnus he took he
Excessive risk.
yeah, but he got away, and well, it's fortune favors the brave.
Yes,
and
in
so,
this
okay,
case,
but
yeah.
also, well, I knew that well, sometimes I like to be short of time because I know that some guys they like to take their chances.
Right, right.
Yeah, and of
You
course
can catch them.
I
when
can
they-
catch them as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because my good friend Ivan Sokolov, he always likes to play for time, but this 30 seconds increment has costed him a lot of games because guys they keep on making some only moves in
yeah.
in 30 seconds, and you should be very careful how far you want to go.
Uh-huh.
So I can was only one more critical moment
Yes.
here in this game. Okay, rook c3, which was I was okay. I'm going to sweep the rook over third rank, but here, yeah, and here I should have found knight d4, and I think I'm very fine here.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm taking this bishop, and well, I don't think there's so much to
Worry about in
yeah.
that case.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 94. But in the game, you considered this?
No.
Ah.
Simply because okay, you don't consider so often these moves like okay, I'm on this 30 seconds increment.
Right.
So
You want to play solid. Or
yeah,
something.
I mean knight d4 is a bit more tricky, and knight f4. Well, I mean I was just aiming for knight takes e6 kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. Whereas knight d4 does both. You hit the bishop on
Yeah.
on c6 as
Yeah.
well as the pawn
yeah.
on e6.
Yeah, but that's when you have little time. Sometimes you forget a few details.
Mm-hmm.
But well,
And by the way, after your knight d4 suggestion, can he take it, or is it just it's you kill him on f7?
yeah, it's just made, no?
Yeah, it's just made. This is so. Yeah, it's just there's a rook h2. Oh dear. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's just rook h2 and bishop e2 check. So.
Here. How you want to be mated, eh?
Yeah, no. It's true. No, I don't want to be mated.
Yeah.
Very nice. No, so he cannot take. Then you could take the bishop and you're fine.
Yeah.
Ah. Oh.
Mm.
So several.
Thanks for
really.
rubbing
rubbing
it
it in.
one more time, yeah?
No.
Yeah, I thought we were going to do my game from
Yeah.
today, but
Okay, but after this kind of a setback, now you have to recalibrate yourself. That's not easy too, because did you spend the evening kicking yourself at your missed chances, or did you recognize that, okay, he took a big risk with time trouble and you're philosophical about it, or do you beat yourself up?
no, not so much. It was just a pity.
Okay.
I mean, basically, I had a nice big chance to
Make a sensation in the tournament.
to show him who's the boss, but
Yeah.
yeah, and that's a pity that. But okay, well, I know in time trouble this thing can happen. It can go either way.
Exactly. And then as far as today, then your mindset, you every day is a challenge, of course. All the players are very, very strong. And you're facing Mickey, you're just facing Mickey Adams today with the black pieces. What's your overall score with Mickey?
Well, basically, we've been making a lot of draws. I think he beat me like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I'm playing with black against Mickey, which I don't mind at all.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I mean against Mickey I can play neither without being mated. So
That's very
Yeah.
nice because he's playing g3 against
Yeah.
you. And your game today, a very cool opportunity occurred right here. Take us through the position when you decided on the capture of e4.
yeah, well, I think I don't even need this trick, but okay, it's a pawn, yeah. So I mean, I can play any move like rook c8 and try to play for d5, and I don't think he can really stop it, yeah. Because let's say if I make a move like, for example, rook c8.
Yeah. Do I have to turn this on for you so you can go into analysis? Yes.
Yeah. So if I make a move like rook c8, then I think next move, for example, it will be like queen e6, and the bishop is hanging also on b6.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to play queen e6 and d5, and I think I'm perfectly fine. But well, then I saw this opportunity to take this pawn. Well, okay, it looks tempting, yeah.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
okay, first when I saw this trick, I thought it doesn't work because of rook takes e4.
Right.
But then I saw this move f5, and then it's clear that
It does work.
it does work. So yeah, there's this little detail that after queen b7 check, rook f3. So okay, I cannot take here because of queen d5 check, king h8, and rook takes f5.
Oops. But g5 was a very nice little detail that we have actually missed. We were, for some reason, we were concentrating on e4, which is not a very good move for you. e5, e4. Did you first consider e4 to get the rook away and take the bishop? But then,
Yeah, but then rook c3. Yeah.
yeah, rook c3 and queen d5 check.
Yeah.
But so, how did you come up with g5?
Well,
Because
I
without
was
that move, you were worse.
Yeah, but it's not a difficult move.
Well, but you have to see it as you're considering knight takes e4.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, this is. I believe that against this move is, for me at least, easier to find than, let's say, queen h4 check and queen h3 against Magnus or e5. But okay, this is different circumstances that you're not. There's not so much pressure on you.
Always when you're playing a world champion, yes. And at this point, you recognize your opponent, but unfortunately, your opponent has very good comp.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very hard to
Yes.
neutralize.
Yeah. Well, here I was not sure